Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank our guest for being here today. Mr. Guest, just last week in NLRB versus Little River Band of Ottawa Indian Tribal Government, a divided U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit ruled the NLRB may apply the NLRA to a Michigan casino run by the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians on tribal land. How does the treaty with the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians differ from the Chickasaw Treaty?
Well, in the Little River Band case, they did not make the treaty argument directly, although they have a treaty with the United States. And the language in their treaty and the language in the Saginaw Chippewa, which is the next case up in front of the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, the distinction is that there's much more general language. They don't have the same language as in the Chickasaw Treaty that basically precludes any laws enacted by Congress unless it's made specific to the tribe. I mean, it's very narrow language for the Chickasaws and the Choctaws that the board recognized. And it's the impact is going to be felt because not all federally recognized Indian tribes have treaties with the United States. Indian tribes entered into relationships with the United States in a variety of ways. And so not every tribe is going to have the benefit. Even those with treaties, as my friend Jefferson Keel indicated, have that good of language. It's just the exception, not the rule.
Thank you. Let me follow up, if I could. If the NLRB determines it as jurisdiction over an Indian tribe, then what will become of the tribal labor laws?
Well, that's a good question, and in the San Manuel case, it came up as well initially with the Model Tribal Labor Relations Ordinance in California. Now, with the assertion of jurisdiction by the NLRB in Little River Band, there are existing tribal laws. And what the NLRB has said is, well, those that conflict with the NLRA are no longer applicable. So now there's going to be litigation over, well, what conflicts with the NLRA and what doesn't, creating more litigation, more uncertainty. The decision by the NLRB in Chickasaw and the decision by the Sixth Circuit in the Little River Band case, again, illustrate for us why Congress needs to act, and act quickly, with respect to H.R. 511.
Thank you. Lieutenant Governor Keel, the NLRA includes the right to strike. Would a strike at your casino affect government operations in the Chickasaw Nation?
Absolutely. I would liken it to what happened with the air traffic controller strike a number of years ago to this country, where a group of individuals basically crippled the transportation system of this whole country. We obviously are not as large on a larger scale, but that's the type of activity that would interfere with what we're doing. We depend on the revenues to make sure that we provide services, whether it be housing, health care, emergency assistance to our citizens, and we could not stand for that.
Thank you. Let me go to one more question. I believe I have time. In July 2013, a board panel concluded that it had jurisdiction over the Chickasaw Nation. Can you tell us what was the basis for that holding, and have the treaties between the Chickasaw Nation and the United States changed since 2013?
No, ma'am, they have not changed. The treaties have not changed and will not change. But thank you for that question. The specific language that applies to the Chickasaw is that no laws, as Mr. Guest has stated, would ever be passed that would be contrary to the Chickasaw Nation, or unless it was passed specifically for and to the Chickasaw Nation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you, General Letter, for yielding.